Psalm 9, verses 11 through 20. Sing praises to Yahweh, who dwells in Zion, and declare among the people what he has done. For he who avenges blood remembers them. He doesn't forget the cry of the afflicted. Have mercy on me, Yahweh. See my affliction by those who hate me, and lift me up from the gates of death, that I may show all of your praise. I will rejoice in your salvation in the gates of the daughter of Zion. The nations have sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid, their own foot is taken. Yahweh has made himself known. He has executed judgment. The wicked is snared by the work of his own hands. The wicked shall be turned back to Sheol, even all the nations that forget God. For the needy shall not always be forgotten, nor the hope of the poor perish forever. Arise, Yahweh. Don't let man prevail. Let the nations be judged in your sight. Put them in fear, Yahweh. Let the nations know that they are only men. Psalm 9, verses 11 through 20. What I want to talk about tonight is verse 16. Again, Yahweh has made himself known. He has executed judgment. The wicked is snared by the work of his own hand. Now, for kind of quick I want to say recap, quick just concept. The wicked is those that oppose God. The wicked is those that act in direct opposition to God's will. So the wicked, in essence, what David says is the wicked bites himself in the foot or shoots himself in the foot. They are caught in their own judgment, their own punishment, their own consequences by the works of their own hands. And that kind of almost self-fulfilling prophecy is shown by God. You know, the wicked shall be turned back to Sheol. We have to remember, like, Sheol is the ancient Hebrew way of understanding hell. It's this eternal separation from God, this place of darkness and emptiness, a void, kind of like the pre-creation state that we see in Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. When we see the concept of Yahweh in judgment, it leads this slippery slope of God being a punishing God, or God being a vengeful God, God being an evil, angry, bitter God. And while we take those consequences and everything at face value, we do need to understand that some of the punishments that we read about were culturally and historically acceptable at that time. Based on earthly laws, this would have been the punishment. So it kind of was a way for God to meet them where they were. Now, for us, does that mean those same laws, from 3,000, 2,000 years ago still apply to us? No. We are you'll hear me say it often, we are in a different culture, a different time in history. As I've learned, and I stick with this, the Bible was not written to us, but it was written for us. We have to realize, and kind of what I want you guys to walk away with, is that God is always going to be there with us, especially when we are wronged, when we are taken advantage of, when we are abused, hurt, bullied. You kind of fill in the gap. When we are facing opposition that is against the will that God presets for us, we must remember that He has His justice. You've heard me say before, one of the prayers I pray when I'm in kind of these situations are, God, may your will be done. May your justice be served. And that has allowed me to release my shoulders, release that tension and stress, and say, God's going to take care of this whenever time is necessary. My eyes are to fix what's going on right now and to move forward. And even that mindset for me is almost, in my opinion, supported by what verses 18 and 19 talk about. For the needy shall not always be forgotten, nor the hope of the poor perish. Forever arise, Yahweh. Do not let men prevail. Let the nations be judged in your sight. I don't need my judgment, my opinion, my oversight get in the way of what God's truth and justice will be about. God's going to take care of it. God took care of David. God took care of Jesus. God takes care of you and I. We need to pull back and release. It's probably going to be the title for this devotional. Pull back and release. Pull back from trying to solve things our way and release that control to God to allow us to let him do things his way. So, but that wraps that up too. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back tomorrow We'll be back on Tuesday for the next Who Am I Again series. And then next Sunday, we will kick off Psalm 10, probably another split series based on the look of it. And then, more Who Am I Again, more Manna for the Mind, more serving up justice. Until next time, my friends, stay blessed.